Nature gave us life. If we think, we can control nature. Nature gives catastrophic end. The Titan submersible became example for that. So what happened? Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Hidden Rees. On June 18th, the world was devastated by the tragic news that the submersible called Titan, carrying a pilot and 4 crew members, had lost all communication with its mothership while attempting to explore the chilling depths of the North Atlantic Ocean where the RMS Titanic had sunk 111 years ago. A 4-day-long search for Oceangate's Titan submersible has come to a tragic end. The U.S. Coastal Guard has confirmed that all 5 passengers on board Titan have died as the vessel was subject to catastrophic implosion at some point during its voyage towards the Titanic shipwreck. Stockton Rush, from his childhood, he wanted to become an astronaut, and wants to explore the space, but the problems in his eye vision is reason to not achieve those aims. So, he changed his aim to oceans. He wanted to be explorer and explore various places in deep of the ocean. This makes him to started the company, for underwater tourism named as Oceangate. Because, the human explored space more than our Earth ocean. Only 3 humans reached the deepest part of ocean, comparatively, 12 humans stepped in moon. So human knows only 5 to 10% about our wonderful oceans. Even though his vision on underwater exploration is great, but the way he chooses to achieve his vision has become tragedy. Titan is actually a submersible and those terms are not completely interchangeable. The difference between them is that a submarine has enough power to leave a port and come back to a port by itself. A submersible, on the other hand, has limited power reserves, so it needs to be launched by a mothership that will also have to recover it. You can think of submersibles like scuba divers, who need to be dropped to a certain point in the ocean where they can explore before they come back to a ship that will bring them back to a port. Titan's length is 6.7 meters, its width is 2.8 meters and its height is 2.5 meters, as per Oceangate. It weighs a total of 10,432 kilograms and has a payload capacity of up to 685 kilograms. Its 4 inner space 1002 electric thrusters are capable of propelling the vessel to a maximum speed of 3 knots, around 5.5 kilometers per hour, underwater. The Titan has around 96 hours of oxygen reserves on board, and it's contain 1 basic restroom for the explorer, because they planned 10 hours exploration. The Titan submersible is for journey to the Titanic, which sank in 1912 on its maiden voyage after hitting an iceberg, killing more than 1,500 people. The expedition to the wreck, which Oceangate has been operating since 2021, cost $250,000 per person. It was launched on June 18, with 5 persons there including Oceangate CEO Stockton Rush, also the vessel's pilot, British businessman Hamish Harding, Shahzada Dawood, a businessman member of one of the wealthiest Pakistani families, and his son Suleiman Dawood, Paul-Henri Nargeolet, a former French naval officer and a Titanic expert. After 1 hour 45 minutes, the Titan had lost all communication with its mothership. Probably on that moment, it had been imploded, but authorities were alerted when it failed to resurface at the scheduled time later that day. After a search lasting nearly 80 hours, a remotely operated underwater vehicle discovered a debris field containing parts of Titan, about 500 meters from the bow of the Titanic. First, what is implosion? Quite simply, an implosion is the opposite of an explosion. In an explosion, the force acts outwards, but in an implosion the force acts inwards. When a submersible is deep in the ocean, it experiences the force on its surface due to water pressure. When this force becomes larger than the force hull can withstand, the vessel implodes violently. The immense pressure at the site of the Titanic wreckage is primarily due to the depth at which it lies in the North Atlantic Ocean. The wreck of the Titanic is located approximately 12,500 feet below the surface of the ocean. At this depth, the water exerts tremendous pressure. The pressure in the ocean increases by approximately 1 atmosphere for every 33 feet of depth. Therefore, at a depth of 12,500 feet, the pressure is roughly 375 times greater than at the surface. This means that the pressure at the Titanic wreckage is around 5,850 pounds per square inch, which is equivalent to the weight of about 200 adult elephants on an area the size of a postage stamp. The problem starts with the shape of most if not all deep submergence vehicles that take people to the deepest parts of the ocean have a spherical pressure hull, not a cylinder. There is a simple reason for this: symmetry. The spherical symmetry of these crafts ensures that the pressure and forces will distribute in a way that causes, as much as possible, the cancellation of the forces acting on the hull. Oceangate's Titan, being a cylinder with two hemispherical end caps, one under the pointed fairing, violated this principle to an extent. The curved cylinder does have this same effect going on, but not to the same extent as a spherical shape. And also, the material used in the Titan is not ideal. The key is the design of the hull that protects the vessel against the large external water pressure that is trying to crush the hull. Much of the existing technology is based on steel, titanium and aluminum. The performance of these materials under extreme stress is well understood. However, the Titan's hull had an experimental design. It used mostly carbon fibers with proportionally low amount of titanium, which have the advantage of being lighter than titanium or steel, so Titan could have more space for passengers. But, properties of carbon fibers for deep-sea applications are, however, not that well understood. It can crack and break suddenly. And also scientists state, the use of titanium and carbon fiber for deep diving, as they have different properties. Titanium is elastic and can adapt to ranges of stresses and pressures without permanent strain on the material. Carbon fiber on the other hand is stiffer and non-elastic, often prone to cracking. Also, Titan had previously gone for deep sea dives a few times, which would have contributed to the fatigue of the hull to make the hull more prone to catastrophic failure. The technological aspect inside the hull is even more controversial. Because inside hull, they had only 2 computers for the communication and 1 video game controller used to steer the Titan submersible. And there is 1 round window at the end, with no GPS underwater. Titan communicated with its mothership by text messages. So, now you all have one question. This Titan had many flaws in safety measures, then who permitted this exploration? No one. Because the place, where they went to explore, comes under international water. So, no government rules and safety measures applied. The Oceangate didn't run any safety test includes non-destructive test on that Titan submersible. Even though many experts wrote a letter to Oceangate Expedition CEO Stockton Rush, warning the construction of the Titan submersible was experimental and could result in minor to catastrophic outcomes, including Titanic director James Cameron. Cameron is no stranger to deep-sea exploration. He has made a whopping 33 dives to the shipwreck himself, even calculating that he spent more time on the Titanic than its own captain did a century ago. Cameron and many others in the deep submergence community had long been concerned about the vessel's safety and Oceangate's experimental approach, he said on Thursday, lamenting that the company had ignored experts' calls to undergo a standard certification process. I'm struck by the similarity of the Titanic disaster itself, where the captain was repeatedly warned about ice ahead of his ship, and yet, he steamed up full speed into an ice field on a moonless night, and many people died as a result, Cameron said. And for a very similar tragedy, where warnings went unheeded, to take place at the same exact site, with all the diving nets going on all around the world, I think it's just astonishing, it's really quite surreal. And another interesting thing has been revealed that Stockton Rush had familial ties to 2 Titanic victims. Rush's wife Wendy is a descendant of Ida and Isidore Strauss, who were first-class passengers aboard the ship during its ill-fated maiden voyage in 1912. The Strauss did not survive the wreck, which killed more than 1,500 people. After 1 hour 45 minutes, the Titan had lost all communication with its mothership. Cameron predicted, the submersible may be imploded. The only good thing for those crew members is, they did not felt any pain during their death, because the implosion happened in 20 milliseconds. It's even faster than our neurons transmitted pain signal to our brain. Debris from the Titan was located about roughly 1,600 feet from the Titanic on the ocean floor. The debris brought ashore on Wednesday appeared to include at least 1 titanium end cap, the sub's porthole with its window missing, as well as a titanium ring, landing frame and the end equipment bay. But the remains of those crew members is tough to recollect from the debris. If the Oceangate follows all safety measures, those 5 people were alive today. The wrong decisions of one man leads to the catastrophic end. So, don't underestimate nature.